For the 8th consecutive year, the Colorado Avalanche have made the playoffs in the search for their 4th Stanley Cup in franchise history and 2nd in 4 years. 3 years removed from a Stanley Cup in which they lost just 4 games throughout the run, the big question is if they will have to keep players necessary to get another one going. The main superstar talent is still here in this core, but after loading up at the trade deadline to address key weaknesses, they are preparing themselves for a cup run. It wasn't exactly smooth sailing for the Avs throughout the season, where they have used a league-high 49 players due to various injuries across the lineup. That number could soon be 50 with the return of Captain Gabriel Landeskog, who has missed the past 2 years and 10 months with lingering knee injuries that led to arthroscopic surgery and a cartilage transplant. He just played his first games of professional hockey on April 11th, albeit on a conditioning stint with the Avs AHL affiliate, the Colorado Eagles, and it shows a journey of never giving up on your playing career. And he'll get a warm welcome back to the ice from his teammates, 9 of them were with him on the 2022 Stanley Cup winning team. Among that group include Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar, 2 of the top 5 players in the NHL today. MacKinnon has made a serious case for a second career Hart Trophy as the league's MVP, finishing the season 2nd in points behind Nikita Kucherov. Makar is making his case for winning the Norris Trophy again as the league's best defenseman, with his outstanding offensive instincts and elite defensive play on both ends of the ice, which are second to none. Arturi Lehkonen and Valeri Nichushkin both returned for the Stanley Cup winning team and have carved out everyday roles on the Avs. Lehkonen has found a home on McKinnon's left wing, being key on both special teams units, scoring on the bumper and killing penalties effectively. Nichushkin, despite being in and out the lineup several times this season, whether it be injuries or a month-long suspension to start the year, emerged as a valuable net front presence and grinder on the top 6. Logan O'Connor is the last of the 4 forwards to return for the Stanley Cup winning team and continues to be an active forechecker and energy forward on the bottom 6. Makar and Devon Toews form by far and away the best defensive pairing in the NHL, with the both of them excelling at both ends of the ice. While all the attention on defense is turned to Makar, the impact that Toews makes cannot be understated. Samuel Girard is a small yet skilled defenseman who plays a huge role on the second pairing, mostly on the offensive end, being one of 2 key defensemen on the second power play unit for most of the year. Josh Manson plays a defensive style with the willingness to deliver big hits. His father Dave was one of the most feared players in the league, but Josh has his own style of play that makes Dad proud. Eric Johnson was brought back at the trade deadline to the team he spent 13 years with. While he is 37 years old and nearing the end of his career, he is still a locker room leader who can block shots as a bottom pairing defenseman. A lot has changed since the 2022 Cup winning team for the Avs. Mikko Rantanen wanted to get an extension with them, but Colorado was not willing to pay him over $12 million per year when he was asking for $14 million per year. Instead of losing him for nothing, General Manager Chris MacFarland decided to get something of value in return, and the return is more than valuable for Colorado. Martin Necas, who was also in a lot of trade speculation, has found a new home out west and has remained one of the most consistent scorers of his draft class. Jack Drury was also acquired in this trade, and he's carried over his defense-first approach as a 4th-line center who can also win faceoffs. Among free agent additions over the last 2 years, Jonathan Drouin showed promise earlier in his career when he looked to be an offensive centerpiece. After being bumped down the Montreal Canadiens lineup in his later years with them, he's back to putting up respectable numbers on an offensive-focused Colorado attack. Ross Colton is still consistent as a 3rd-line forward on the attack and can add to the second power play unit. Joel Kiviranta has found consistent ice time on the bottom 6 with career highs all across the board and helps him out the penalty kill too. Parker Kelly adds penalty killing and 4th-line forechecking, though he's better suited as a winger. What could be even sweeter? Landeskog returning to the lineup. Entering the trade deadline, the forward core had to be addressed because of how shallow and top-heavy it was. And now, it's a loaded forward core. To add on to Necas and Drury, Brock Nelson has established himself as a 2nd-line center with the New York Islanders and an underrated 2-way presence who can top out as a 30-goal scorer. He can slot in the net front and kill penalties too. Charlie Coyle fills the 3rd-line center spot, taking the place of the struggling Casey Middlestat, who Coyle was traded for. A year removed from a career year, he's back on the points pace in Colorado after a down year with the Boston Bruins, although many Bruins themselves had down years this season. Another concern was on the defensive side of the ice. While the goal scoring was intact, Penalty killing and defense were of big concerns entering the season. The goaltending was the weakest link to the team, as Alexander Georgiev and Justus Annunen were not panning out. McFarland quickly addressed it by trading for Mackenzie Blackwood and Scott Wedgwood. The both of them have thrived a mile high, being one of the best goalie tandems ever since they were both acquired in separate trades. Colorado also needed an upgrade on the back end of the defense. Ryan Lindgren has carved out a reputation for being a tenacious shot blocker with the New York Rangers. His physicality was an excellent match next to Adam Fox on the Rangers' top pairing. But on a team as deep as the Avalanche, him on a third pairing role makes them dangerous and helps them a lot after a down year at Broadway for Lindgren. Jimmy Vesey comes along with him in that trade and helps out depth-wise for the fourth line and with penalty killing. While it's been a short wait since they last won the Stanley Cup, a second time winning the prize trophy will feel sweet for everyone at the Mile High City. This season was a tumultuous one for them, where they started as a wildcard contender with the lack of depth and being extremely top heavy to go with the many injuries they faced. There were many questions the contention window was closing. Now, they're firmly back in the Stanley Cup conversation, looking to finish this story. In a jam-packed Central Division, the task is tough, but if there's any team that has what it takes to get it done, it's Colorado.